Next is in the post-pandemic recent past, many central banks worldwide have carried out interest rate hikes. Central banks generally assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices via monetary policy means. Which one of the following statement is correct? So central government after COVID, what happened? There has been a large pumping. There has been money during COVID times. So there has been high inflation. So interest rate might have been increased by the central bank. So that could have been one logical answer. Uh, so the second statement is central banks generally assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices via monetary policy. So that can also be correct. So option A, both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1, because obviously central banks have the power as well as the power. So consider the following statements. Statement 1, carbon markets are likely to be one of the most widespread tools to fight against climate change. Obviously, it should be correct. Carbon markets, you must have known the basics. One country can actually sell this much a quota to some other countries. That is a basic concept. So that is one major thing. Then statement 2 is carbon markets transfer resources from the private sector to the state. So that is also correct. So statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement. These are all like very, what to say, moderate statements. So you need not suspect something suspicious in that. Which one of the following activities of the Reserve Bank of India is considered to be sterilization? Conducting open market operations, oversight of payment and settlement system, debt and cash management for central and state governments, regulating the function of NBFCs. So what happens? So the answer is open market operation. So sterilization is actually the open market operation is actually the open market operation which is conducted by the Reserve Bank of India. So now the 45th question is consider the following markets: government bond market, call money market, treasury bill market, stock market, which are capital markets. So here government market, yeah. So here you can easily know the treasury bill market. Treasury bill is actually for government to, like, what to say, to get the money or to get through the some debts on a small scale, maybe like 1 2 month, 2 month, 3 month treasury bills are there. So it is not a capital instrument. So you can easily eliminate treasury market. Then comes call money market. Call money market is for very few days. So it is also doesn't come under this capital market. So we can eliminate these two, and the other is government bond market. So it can even belong to national highway bonds, rural electrification corporation bonds, etc. So these are long-term bonds. So that can be capital instrument. And the fourth one is stock market. Stock market obviously is a capital instrument. So only two options are correct. These can be easily done if you have basic knowledge on economy as well as the stocks. So which one of the following best describe the concept of small farmer, large field? So one is resettlement of a large number of people uprooted from their cultivable land. Second is many marginal farmers in an area organize themselves into group and synchronize and harmonize agricultural operations. Many marginal farmers in an area comes together with a contract with a corporate body, and the corporate body sets in some certain terms and conditions to working. And fourth is a company extend loan, technical knowledge, and material inputs to a number of small farmers in an area so that they can produce agriculture commodity, which is required by this company for their commercial purposes. So this is from reading the option itself, you can know many marginal farmers coming together or synchronized in a group for harmonized agriculture operations. So that is small farmer, large field. Because though the small farmers are very marginal, when they come together, when they harmonize their fields, and the statement is also sounds some logical also. The government of India provides MSP for Niger seeds. Niger is cultivated as a kharif crop. Some tribals in India use Niger oil for cooking. So third option is very, very simple option. Some tribals, we don't know which specifically whether they use or not, but some might have been using that. So that need to be correct. And second is Niger MSP is given by the government of India. So whenever this MSP wala thing comes, you must have a set of notes. You must have the list of things for which the government provides MSP. So Niger is actually provided. The government actually provides for Niger. And second is Niger is a kharif crop. Niger is actually in fact kharif crop. So if you have the list of rabi crops, kharif crops, and zaid crops for which the government is actually providing MSP, it would have been very helpful for you. Consider the following investments in the following aspects: brand recognition, inventory, intellectual property, mailing list of clients. Which of them are considered as intangible assets? Inventory, though you know, it is tangible asset. So eliminating inventory, others all are intangible asset. Brand recognition, that's an asset. Mailing list of clients, it is also an asset because they can use it for some economic gains. Mailing list, or either you can sell it to some advertisement companies, mailing list, etc. And brand recognition, mailing list, and intellectual properties, maybe copyright, trade design, industrial design, etc. Consider the following: demographic performance, forest and ecology, governance reform, stable government, tax and fiscal affairs. For the horizontal tax devolution, the Finance Commission uses which of the following criteria other than population area and income distance? Here there is a catch. So first thing is you must have gone through budget as well as economic survey to answer this question. Okay, so in that we know that they have specifically given which are the conditions under which their central government is actually revolving the funds. So, and the third option, governance reforms. Do you think that governance reform can be one of the solid conditions of coercive devolution of funds, especially by the Finance Commission will be done? No, because governance reforms, so one state have one set of governance reforms, their priorities will be different. So Kerala will have some priorities in social sector because we are focusing on social sector. Maybe Uttar Pradesh or maybe Telangana will be focusing on economics. So their reforms will be for that. So we can't compare government reforms, and it's not a solid comparable feature. Also. And fourth one, stable government. You can easily eliminate that because stable government can never be one of the criteria for allotment of finance commission. So if you eliminate these two, yeah, if you eliminate these two, you will end up in only three. So that is the answer. So this can be easily done. Consider the following sectors: affordable housing, mass traffic transport, healthcare, renewable energy. How many of the above does United Nations UNOPS Sustainable Investment in Infrastructure Innovation Initiative focus upon? So here, I actually wrote this as all the four because it was one of the safe option also. But here they have only three major options over here: affordable housing, renewable energy, health infrastructure. They don't have mass rapid transport system. But this is a bit difficult question. Not big difficult question. It's a very difficult question because mass rapid transport system is one of the major infrastructure thing which we are doing now. So this you need to know the facts to know, not like the other questions. Moving on, we have actually completed half of the paper. Moving on, with reference to home guards, consider the following statements. Home guards are raised under the Home Guards Act and rules of the central government. So, second is role of home guards is to serve as an auxiliary force to the police in maintenance of internal security. So that statement is quite decent statement. It doesn't have some strong sentences or strong verbs or nouns. So that should be correct. To prevent infiltration on the international borders or coastal areas, the border being home guard battalions have been raised in some states. That might have been one of the problems. You can safely assume that this can be correct because the usage of the sentence etc. seems to be so. But the first question, home guards are raised under the Home Guards Act and rules of the central government. Do you think that there could be some specific act for this home guards, and even if it is there, it would be under central government? Home guards is for helping the state police, so it should be under the state government. So you can easily eliminate the first statement. Second and third are right, so only two pairs. So next is with reference to India, consider the following pairs. Action, the act under which it is covered. Unauthorized wearing of police uniforms or military uniforms. Official Secrets Act 1923. Knowingly misleading or otherwise interfering with a police officer or a military officer when they are engaged in their duties. Indian Evidence Act 1872. Third is celebratory gunfire, which can endanger personal safety. Arms Amendment Act 2019. So the third one you can easily know that it should be under Arms Act, or personal arms and ammunition factor. So third is correct. And for second, you can easily know it should not be knowingly misleading or otherwise interfering with police officer. So it should not be under. It would not be under this Indian Evidence Act. Indian Evidence Act have nothing to do with these things at all, like preventing an officer from doing their job. But first one, unauthorized wearing of police uniforms, it actually comes under Official Secrecy Acts of 1920. So two statements are correct. So option B is answer. Now one question is from location based and it's very easy also. North U and Ituri war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Nagorno-Karabakh insurgency in Mozambique. Kherson and Zaporozhye dispute between Israel and Lebanon. So in this, I know the second option, or anyone will know that Nagorno-Karabakh is between the fight between Armenia and Azerbaijan. That is the territory which is under fight. So yeah, so those first and second will be wrong because North Kivu and Ituri, that will also be wrong because the options they have swapped. Either they have swapped or it must not be correct. Third option is Kherson and Zaporozhye. It is a dispute between Israel and Lebanon. If there was such a dispute between Israel and Lebanon, we should have known because we know that Golan Heights, we know many places for fight happened. So I haven't heard this place, or it should be news. So I can safely know that this should be wrong and end up in none of the above. These are options which many a times we don't know the options, but believe your guts. But at the same time, be logical and believe your guts. If you have Israel-Palestine issue, anyone would have known Israel-Palestine or Israel-Lebanon because Israel is in the hot contested topic all the time. So you must have gone through their maps. You must have known which all countries Israel has issues with, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, etc. You know which are the places for issues happens. This Golan Heights and all comes under. So consider the following statement. Israel has established diplomatic relations with some Arab states. It can have. And a person who has prepared a veteran knows that a UPSC veteran will know that this Israel's policy has changed this recent time and they have some diplomatic or even some talks at least with UAE and all other countries. That can be correct. And second is Arab Peace Initiative mediated by Saudi Arabia was signed by Israel and Arab League. So there comes the issue. Is that signed between Israel and Arab League? That is a major issue. Uh, so that statement is wrong. It is not. It is not correct, and hence, but statement one is correct because it has established with some of the countries, and UAE is one of the countries for that. I remember that Abrahamic Accords, if you remember, it was in 2020. This some sort of melting down of the hostilities between Israel and the other countries, especially the Arab countries, has started. So you can safely go with option C, which is statement one is correct, statement two is, and especially statement two is very factual statement also. UPSC can easily swap this statement Arab League, Saudi Arabia by Arab League. So that is the option C. With the following pairs, sports awards. So UPSC has now started a tendency of asking film awards, sports awards, and all. Even in 2021, I remember there have been large number of sports wala questions as well as film award wala questions. So read the newspapers, get into touch with at least some of these things. So that can be done while you day-to-day read your newspaper, not just read editorial, but read the other thing also, like at least the headlines, these awards, etc. So you can at least remember that this is not by this person or something, or this award is not for that. UPSC is asking both the ways, whether this award is for this specific purpose and this award is gained by this person. So second one is a bit more difficult for us because it is very specific. But first one we can actually try adjusting and doing it. So the first one is Major Dhyanchand's Khel Ratna Award for the most spectacular outstanding performance by a sports person over a period of last 2 years. So second is Arjun Award for lifetime achievement by a sports person. Dronacharya Award to honor eminent coaches who are successfully trained sports person. Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar to recognize the contribution made by sports person even after their retirement. So here you must be knowing one that Khel Chandra Award is for the one of the highest sports award which a person can achieve in India, and it is for the period of last 4 years. Second is Arjuna Award. Uh, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. So the Arjuna Award is actually an award which is given for the performance in the last 4 years, and and the Chancellor Khel Ratna Award is for lifetime performance because I messed up the logic. So it is for the lifetime achievement of a person because it is the highest award which the which the nation presents to a person, a sports person. So it is they have made it the ulta. Arjuna Award is for 4 years. Third is correct, Dronacharya Award, because it is true. Dronacharya you might be knowing, even you can sense it from the word Dronacharya was guru. So it is for coaches. The fourth is Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar. It is for the contribution even after their retirement. So that is wrong. So only one is correct, which is One is correct, which is Dronacharya. So the option comes is, yeah, option comes is A, option. Now 56 question is, it's very factual question. 44th Chess Olympiad. It was the first time Chess Olympiad was held in India. The official mascot was named as Tambi. The trophy of the winning team in the open section is Vera Menchik Cup. The trophy of the winning team in the women's section is Hamilton Russell Cup. How many of the above statements are correct? These are very factual questions. So one logic which we can do, which I did is, there are high chances that they must have twisted the trophy of winning team in open section with women's section, because otherwise they won't put this much big sentences, because they also need something in suspense in this. So I would have taken 3 and 4 as wrong. Official mascot would have been Tambi. That could have been, and it would have been the first time, because otherwise this question would not have even come in this mascot. So you can easily go with B, but it's a moderately difficult one. And if you have the risk taking ability, then you can go for that. So next is areas in conflict: Donbass, Syria, Kachin, Ethiopia, Tigray, North Yemen. How many of them are correct? So Donbass, it is not in Syria. If you have followed the news in Ukraine, Russia conflict, you must have known that it is in Ukraine. Kachin, it is not in Ethiopia. Kachin province is in Myanmar, which is very much famous for its military strikes and all. So Kachin is in Myanmar, and Tigray. Uh, Tigray is actually in Ethiopia. So they have actually given Ethiopia in one of the places, but it is not. So the option D, none of the above is answered. In recent years, Chad, Guinea, Mali, and Sudan caught the international attention for which one of the following? Discovery of rich rare earth elements. There are less chances. If we have discovered such rare earth minerals, we would have known. And most of these rare earth minerals are in South America as well as in some in China. There is nothing in Africa as such great deposits. Rich deposits. You must have known. Rich deposits means, see the how it is actually written. Rich deposits. Establishment of Chinese military bases. That's a moderate statement. Southward expansion of southern deserts, Sahara Desert. Successful coups. The answer is successful coups. Southward extension of Sahara Desert. But you cannot easily say that this expansion is something which you cannot easily say that it takes huge years. So you cannot say that recently this happened. So you can easily, because desert expansion takes a large amount of time. So you can easily eliminate that also. So the only confusion is between Chinese military bases and successful coups. But in Chad, Guinea, and Mali and all, there is less chances for Chinese expansion, because it's in Djibouti and all, there is Chinese military bases which is happening. So you can go for successful coups. And all these countries, Sudan, Chad, and all, is very politically stable countries. So successful coup is very much possible. Consider the following heavy industries: fertilizer plants, oil refineries, steel plants. Green hydrogen is supposed to play or expected to play a significant role in decarbonizing which of these industries? Fertilizer plant, can't we use green hydrogen? Yeah, of course. Oil refineries, can't we use this? Steel plants, can't we use this? So the option comes all the above. Don't think too much in this environment questions, because these are all the future probabilities or science and technology questions. Last time they asked one carbon nanotubes. They can be used in these. Who knows, we can't use in future. It is all about future the technology improves, as well as so you can easily safely assume that this can be, can be used. Now next question is about G20. The G20 group was originally established as a platform for the finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss the international economic and financial issues. G20 consists of 19 nations as well as European Union. So this first statement is pretty decent, because it is for finance ministers as well as reserve bank governors. Who else will go for discussing like economic issues? Second is digital public infrastructure is one of the India's G20 priorities. That can be, they have not said that it's the only priority. That can be one of the priorities, digital public infrastructure. So you can safely say that these two statements are correct. Now we are coming to modern India. This is something which is factual thing which is coming up. Alexander Ria, A.H. Longhurst, Robert Sibel, James Burgess, and Walter Elliot were associated with archaeological excavations, establishment in English press in colonial India, establishment of churches in Princely Street, and construction of railways in colonial states. Actually, it's a bit difficult question, not bit, it's very difficult question. If you have known any of these names, I didn't knew any of these names, so I ended up in making a mistake of putting this, establishment of English first, because I thought like others establishing the churches in Princely State, it's like not so great even to be asked. And construction of railways in colonial India, we would have at least heard the name of the persons. So, but the answer is archaeological excavation, excavations. Next is art and culture. Yeah, this is doable question. Besnagar cave shrine. Besnagar is famous for Shaivite cave shrine. Bhaja Buddhist cave shrine, and the Sittanavasal is Jain. So Sittanavasal, anyhow, you must have gone earlier in one of the questions. I said there are less Jain statues or monuments in South India. Less. I'm not saying it's not there. It is less. So Sittanavasal is one of the Jain shrines, which is particularly located in southern uh, Tamil Nadu. It is located in Pudukkottai district. Yeah. So Baga is a Buddhist cave, which you would have gone through when you have learned art and culture from Nitin Sinhania. You would have gone through all these cave names. At least Baja, this many caves, so it is Buddhist cave shrines, as well as Besnagar. Besnagar is actually it is not Shaivite, it is Vaishnavite. It is on the factual thing which you need to know. So you will end up in option B only. So now again the statement-based questions in modern India. Consider the following statement: 7th August is declared as National Handloom Day. So yeah, so this is one of the current affairs which have been running through. Second is, it was in 1905 that the Swadeshi movement was launched the same day. So both the statements are correct. Swadeshi movement was launched in 70, but it was not the reason why August 7th is celebrated as the National Handloom Day. So here the answer comes is option A. So sorry to say, yeah. Here the option comes as option A. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is a correct explanation. I made a mistake on the same. It was on 1905, the same day that the Swadeshi movement was launched, and even it can be logically understood also, because in exam I made this mistake. It can be logically understood because Swadeshi movement is actually meant for Indian handlooms. So Indian handlooms were launched during the Swadeshi movement, so it could have close association. The only doubt we could have, this is August 7th, the date specifically, whether it is there or not, but it is actually factually correct. So consider the following statement with respect to national flag. Flag code of India of 2002. Statement 1 is, one of the standard size of national flag is 600 mm into 400 mm. The ratio of length to the width of the flag shall be 3:2. So here, what happened? Here you need to specifically. This is a very factual question, and I don't know how this UPSC ended up in asking this factual question from modern India, especially this handloom day, this flag code, specific sizes of flags. So this has been a new trend. Earlier, they used to ask about like various charter acts, as well as various Gandhian movements, Nehruvian movements, etc. So now they have shifted into the factual questions. So here you need to know those sizes. There are specific sizes for national flag, and 600 into 400 is not the flag size. And yeah, and second statement is correct. The ratio of length to breadth or length to width should be 3:2. So that is correct. So only one option is correct over here. So section statement 2 is correct, but statement 1 is not. So option B will be the correct. So consider the following statement about Constitution Day. Constitution Day is pretty easy question. Constitution Day is celebrated on 26th November every year to promote constitutional values among citizens. So yeah. So it is correct answer. Constitution November 26th is when the Constitution was framed or Constitution making was finished. It was declared as Constitutional Day, and it is celebrated to inculcate constitutional values among the citizens. But the second statement is the first. So here on 26th November 1949, the Constitutional Assembly of India set up a drafting committee under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to prepare a draft constitution. It is that day when they have completed the drafting of the Constitution. That is November 26th, 1949. They have been formed. This committee has been formed 3 years before. It took at least almost 3 years to complete this work. So statement 2 is wrong. So option is answer. Answer is option C. Consider the following statements. Switzerland is one of the leading exporters of gold in terms of value. So Switzerland has the second largest gold reserve in the world. So whenever these things comes, yeah, you must know second largest, first largest. So gold, Switzerland is one of the major producers in that too. But do you think that gold is second largest producer of gold? It is very difficult to consider Switzerland as the second largest producer of gold. But exporter is something other because exporter actually processes the gold and makes it in different forms and expressions. So that is correct. He is one of the leading exporters. That too, there is no strong statement. So that can be correct. But the second option is wrong, and the answer will be C. Recently, UAE and European Union launched the Trade and Technology Council. USA and European Union claim that through this they are trying to bring technological process progress and physical productivity under their control, which of the following are not correct. So second option about the objective of usually UPC puts the other way around. European Union, USA would have been wrong. But here the thing is those are correct, but the second statement about the objective of this organization is wrong. So you can end up in putting answer as C. Second statement is correct, the second statement is wrong, first statement is correct. So this is a bit factual one, the earlier question. Now then, we are coming to economics. India accounts for 3.2% of global export of goods. Many local companies and some foreign companies operating in India have taken advantage of India's production linked subsidies. See, the second statement is very decent statement. You don't have to worry much about it. Some Indian companies, some foreign companies, they must have used. We cannot say that no one has used. Here the twist is India exports 3.2% of the global exports. So I don't think it is too huge figure for India for exports. So India will be hovering around 1 or 2%, not 3.2%. So and also it is a numerical value, which is very easy for UPSC to make numerical values wrong, so as to make confusion. So I would have made both the statements wrong, and option will be D. The Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union is a treaty that limits the levels of budgetary deficits of the countries of the European Union, makes the countries of the European Union to share their infrastructure facilities, enables the countries of the European Union to share their technologies. Which of the following statement is correct? So here the thing is the three options are not related to each other and only related to option 2 and 3. So first is limits the levels of the budgetary deficit. So here that is something which is related to budget as well as economy. The other two are related to infrastructure. So here you can safely I made a mistake. I thought all the three is correct, but the answer is option 1. At this moment, I think yeah, we can easily or sensibly we can tell because sharing infrastructure facilities and technologies. So it could not be a part of growth pact. Growth is something related to economic growth. So we would have ended up in answer 1 thinking at this moment. So next is recently all the countries of the United Nations have adopted the first ever compact for international migration, the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration. The objectives and commitments stated in GCM are binding on the United Nations member countries. The GCM addresses the international migration of internally displaced people also. So first is all the countries of the United Nations. Do you think that such a migration treaty for many of the countries themselves or their governments themselves are responsible for migration to sign to such a treaty? No, it's a wrong statement. All the countries hasn't signed it. Second is objectives are binding on the United Nations country. If there is any convention, an international convention, there is less chance that it could be binding on any countries as such, because or else it should be some arms treaty which should be binding, but it is not. So second is also can be easily like eliminated. Binding treaties are very less in international organizations, and especially organization like International Organization for Migration, which is responsible for this. And the third statement is yeah, GCM doesn't address international migration. It majorly focuses upon sorry. This treaty doesn't treat much about internally displaced people or internal migration. It is majorly for external migration or international migration. So option B is the correct answer. None of the statements are correct. It can easily came across because these are statement based questions. It's not very factual in nature. And there are certain things like binding and all the countries are signed this treaty and all, which is very extreme and which is less chances that this would happen. 71st question. Consider the following countries: Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, which shares border with Ukraine. This is the most awaited and the million-dollar question because like this was most expected because Ukraine crisis has happened in the last 1 year and it has been in the news throughout. Any serious aspirants would have known this. So here the option A is the correct answer, which is only two. So which are the countries? Belarus, Russia, Sea of Azores, and Black Sea, Moldova, and Romania. Yeah, Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland, etc. Other countries. So it doesn't border with Bulgaria. Bulgaria, how it is not the Czech Republic, Latvia, and Lithuania. So you can easily eliminate, and you can end up in two options. With reference to Earth's atmosphere, which one of the following statement is correct? Let's see the statements. The total amount of insolation received at the equator is roughly about 10 times that received in poles. Infrared infrared rays constitute roughly two-thirds of the insolation. Infrared rays are largely absorbed by water vapor that is concentrated in the lower atmosphere. Infrared rays are a part of visible spectrum of solar radiation. Here, I will eliminate the first one because 10 times in the equator insolation is 10 times of that of poles. So I don't think that could be sensible because it's too huge proportion. Second is infrared rays consider two-thirds of insolation because insolation infrared rays doesn't consider is not the two-third and there is a value also. Why did it give a value? So I would have easily eliminated that. And infrared rays are part of visible spectrum. Are they part of visible spectrum? They are not the part of visible spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. So the C statement seems good. Infrared waves are largely absorbed by the water vapor that is concentrated because they are largely absorbed by the water vapor. Next is about seismograph. In a seismograph, P waves are recorded earlier than S waves. In P waves, the individual particles vibrate to and fro in the direction of propagation of waves. Yeah. So first is P waves. P waves is recorded earlier than S waves. P waves primary waves. Obviously, it should be recorded earlier than the S waves. And P waves vibrate parallel to the direction of the wave, while S wave is perpendicular to the direction of wave. So both the statements are correct. So both 1 and 2 is correct answer. Next is with reference to coal-based thermal power plants in India. None of them uses state water. None of them is set up in water stress district. None of them are privately owned. So how can you say that none of them are in water stress district? You can't say that at least one of them could be in water stress district, and we don't know all the water stress districts in India. None of them uses seawater. Some of them are located near the ocean, so they might be using some water. So you can easily eliminate that. None of them is privately owned. So that also many privately owned the thermal power plants are present. So you can, and all of them are extensive. So I'll go with B. None. Volbachia method is sometimes used in which of the following? Controlling viral disease spread by mosquito, converting crop residues into packing material, producing biodegradable plastics, and producing biochar from thermochemical conversion of biomass. So this I know it very well about Volbachia method. This has been used since long. It is actually to control mosquitoes, disease spread by mosquitoes. So that's a factual question. If you know, you can very well attempt that question. Next is spreading. Yeah, it is about ocean fertilization. Consider the following activities: spreading finely ground basalt rock on farmlands extensively, increasing the alkalinity of oceans by adding lime, capturing carbon dioxide released by various industries, and pumping into the abundant subterranean mines in the form of carbonated water. Which is the best method for carbon capture and sequestration? Last statement is obviously correct. Carbon dioxide is actually collected from industries and it is put into subterranean grounds or some rocks. Second is also increasing the alkalinity of oceans by adding lime. Stable complexes will be formed. Spreading finely ground basalt rock on farmlands extensively. So that is also a form in which carbon sequestration is being captured. So, and moreover, this is an environment question, so you can safely go with all the options. So this is the safest which you can take. So next is aerial metagenomics. Refers to which of the following? Collecting DNA samples from air in a habitat at one go, understanding genetic makeup of the avian species, using airborne devices to collect blood samples, sending drones to inaccessible areas to collect plant and animal samples. C is very blunt statement because using airborne devices to collect blood samples. How can an airborne device can collect blood samples when the avian species are flying? That is very wrong. Sending drones to inaccessible areas to collect plant and animal samples. So first thing is it has nothing to do with aerial metagenomics. What is aerial metagenomics? First, that is wordplay you can understand. Something related to air or something which is present in the atmosphere. So sending drones to inaccessible areas, it has nothing to do with this. Understanding the genetic makeup of alien species of habitat, collecting DNA samples from air in an habitat at one go. So the answer is collecting air DNA samples. Sorry, collecting DNA samples in air at one go. Microsatellite DNA is used in the case of which of the following? So it is very easy answer. Studying the evolutionary relationship among various species, stimulating stem cells to transform diverse functional tissues, which is nowhere related to microsatellite DNA. Promoting clonal propagation of horticulture plants, which is also nowhere related. Assessing the efficacy of drugs, so it is also nowhere. B, you can eliminate drug trials, drug efficiency, and all because it is somewhat related to evolution, something genetic makeup, and also you can get into confusion at least between A and B, evolutionary relationship as well as stimulating stem cell. So, but the answer is A, and it is very easily available in all the current affairs materials. And social. Now we are going to some social, like the questions based on social schemes. Janani Suraksha Yojana. It is a state motherhood intervention of the state health departments. Its objective is to reduce maternal and neonatal mortality among poor pregnant women. It aims to promote institutional delivery among poor. Its objective includes providing public health facility to sick infants up to 1 year of age. How many of them are correct? So you know that institutional delivery, it is one of the main aim of Janani Suraksha Yojana. From the word itself, or if you have gone through the scheme, it is one of the major objective. And second statement, maternal and neonatal mortality rates to be reduced. That's 2 and 3 is obviously correct. One is which is a safe motherhood intervention of the state health department. So that is it. So it is not by state health department, it is by central government initiative. And the fourth statement is providing public health facilities to infants up to 1 year of age. So that is also wrong. So and there is no 1 year limit etc. Because public health facility can be accessed without any like age limit and also only two statements are correct. So next is one of the social scheme based question. Anemia Mukht Bharat strategy. It provides prophylactic calcium supplementation for preschool children. So first think anemia. It is deficiency for iron. Here they have twisted or they have changed the word iron with calcium. That is the only thing they did. First statement. Otherwise it should have been correct. It runs a campaign for delayed cold clamping at the time of childbirth. It provides periodic deworming to children and adolescents. It addresses non-nutritional causes of anemia in endemic pockets, like with special focus on malaria and fluorosis. So first statement is the only wrong. Others are like almost fitting into this thing. First statement is the calcium is the twist over here. If you don't read it and if you read through, it will be difficult to understand that calcium is there. Iron is actually anemia is caused due to iron. So the statement was correct, but calcium was reached, which should have been reachanged by iron. So the answer is all three. Consider the following: carbon fibers are used in manufacture of components used in automobiles and aircraft. Carbon fibers, once used, cannot be recycled. How can it be cannot be recycled? And it's new technologies which are coming. It should be. So these are extreme statements which the red light should have been blown in your mind. So carbon fibers are used in the manufacture of components used in automobiles and aircraft. So they can be used. Why not? Option A, one only, is the answer for this. This is a very easy question. So cannot be. You should think it cannot be. Why can't it be used? Why can't it be recycled? We are recycling even more difficult things than that. Even like mercury or whatever it be, we are recycling it. So what about this thing? This is very simple compared to that. Consider the following actions. This is also a very easy question. Detection of car collision, which results in deployment of airbags. Detection of accidental free fall of laptop towards the ground, which results in immediate turning off the hardware. Detection of the tilt of the smartphone, which results in the rotation of display between portrait and landscape. Which of the following requires an accelerometer? Accelerometer is actually which measures vibration or motion of the instrument. It is not just velocity or something. It does change of velocity alone. It is actually which describes which actually that's the direction also. So all the three you can easily go this, and it's an science and tech question. Anywhere these things happen, science and technology questions happen. Don't go for overthinking. Think that it can be used. Science and technology is always an evolving field. So that should be the attitude when you attend the questions from science and tech. And even if it is environment, this should be the attitude like, okay, there can be some microorganisms which are yet to be found out. So how can we say that it is not present? Some microorganisms may be living in polar regions. Some may be living in boiling water temperatures. So how can we say that it doesn't live? We don't have evidences for that. Unless until we have evidences, we can say that some can live. So with reference to biofilters in recirculating aquaculture system, biofilters provide wastewater treatment by removing uneaten fish food. Biofilters convert ammonia present in fish water waste to nitrate. Biofiltrate increases phosphorus as nutrient for fish in water. Which of the following are correct? So here there is one twist. So the third statement, biofilters increases phosphorus as nutrient for fish in water. So actually, biofilters are used to remove the phosphorus which is present in fish. Okay, so except that, the other two statements are correct. That is very like normal statement only. You can easily guess out on that. Now, space missions. Spheres, giant clouds of dust and gas in space, nebulae, stars which brighten and dim periodically, pulsars, neutron stars that are formed when massive stars run out of fuel and collapse. So here you must know that nebulae is a cloud of dust and stars in dust and gas in space. So if you know nebulae, then you can say that at least both two are wrong. So either one or none it should be. But Cepheids is giant. So Cepheid, yeah. Uh, but new pulsars are correct. Neutron stars, which are formed when massive stars run out of fuel and collapse. So that is correct. So option A, one of these correct answer. Which one of the following countries have their own satellite navigation system? So only few countries have their own satellite navigation system. For example, GPS. GPS is by USA, which we use in our mobile phones. That is by USA. GLONASS is by Russia. So and Galileo is from European Union and Beidou from China. So here the options are Australia, Canada, Israel, and Japan. In addition, there are two other systems, which is NAVIC from India as well as QZSS from Japan. So Japan is the answer from the given option. Australia, Canada, Israel doesn't have their own. Next is the science and tech question. Ballistic missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speeds throughout their flights, while cruise missiles are rocket powered only in the initial phase of the flight. Only you should remember. And ballistic missiles is jet powered at subsonic speed. Ballistic missiles are one of the fastest missiles. So these two has to be in your head. Agni 5 is a medium range supersonic cruise missile, while BrahMos is a solid fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. So they have actually did one thing. Agni 5 is a ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, while BrahMos is a supersonic cruise missile. So they have twisted the statements. And initial phase also, ballistic missiles are actually twisted with other properties of cruise missiles. So these twisting based statements will occur. So whenever there is a comparison, I'll say if it is between virus as well as bacteria, so it is very easy for them to swap the sentences so as to confuse you. So whenever there is a comparison which is happening like this, ballistic missiles versus cruise missiles, so there are high chances of swapping, and hence the option arise usually is D, none of the above. Consider the following regarding mercury pollution. Gold mining activity is a source of mercury pollution in the world. Coal-based thermal power plants can cause mercury pollution. There is no known safe level of exposure to mercury. So 1 and 2 you obviously know that can be. And the final statement is there is no safe level known to mercury because it takes, first thing is it doesn't directly gives effects on the body because mercury actually goes through food chain, food web, etc. And it accumulates across different levels, and it is very difficult to know which level is safe for mercury. So that is why we are also in a campaign to make our environment safe from mercury. So the answer is option B, only two. With reference to green hydrogen, it can be used as a fuel for internal combustion. It can be blended with natural gas and used for heat and power generation. It can be used in hydrogen fuel cell for running vehicles. So I said no, which is current environment wala current questions. This can be used, And the only confusion which can happen is it can be used directly as a fuel for IC engines. But now, like the technology allows us to do that also. So it is that answer is option C because I had the same doubt when I was writing. How can it be used in IC engines? But it can be used in green hydrogen. So according to with reference to India, according to MSME Development Act 2006, medium enterprises are those with investment in plant and machinery of 15 crore to 25 crore. All bank loans to MSME are under priority sector. Not all banks. Anyhow, how can all bank loans to MSME sector? So that is a wrong statement. It's very strong as well as extreme statement. And first statement is you can know the 15 to 25 the government has given just medium. It should be They would have made some twists in this 15 to 25 value. And also 15 to 20 is very low for an what is it, a medium enterprise, because it can be even a small enterprise. So the answer is actually they have actually shifted it to 250 crores. Medium enterprises is medium enterprises, it is 50 crore of plant and machinery investment. So both of them are wrong, and option is B. So I'm saying about, like, even if you don't know what is the 15 to 25 or something, if there is some numerical value, it is very easy for UPSC to swap this, to make this value incorrect and make you confused and end up in wrong answers. And at the same time, the other thing also, swapping of the statements, that also to be considered while some comparison questions coming. With reference to central bank digital currency, it is possible to make payments in a digital currency without using US dollar or SWIFT system. A digital currency can be distributed with a condition programmed into it, such as time frame for spending it. So both are like, okay, it is possible to make possible digital currencies without using dollar. I can't. It can be possible. It's like, no, anything can be possible. Second is digital currency can be distributed with a programmed thing, because it is digital currency. It can be it can be made some default features by the central bank. So answer is C. In the context of finance, the term beta refers to. This is a factual question, and if only if you know this answer, it can be done. The answer is D, the numerical value that measures the fluctuation of a stock to change in the overall stock value. That is actually beta. So next is the self-help group program was originally initiated by the State Bank of India. In SSG, all members of the group take responsibility of the loan that an individual member takes. The RRB and scheduled commercial bank supports SSGs. So first statement, you can say the State Bank of India. So UPSC always have this habit of changing the like State Bank of India with Canara Bank or something. So you can safely say that it should be wrong. But in SSG, all the members are responsible for one individual's loan. So that sounds something which is possible. As well as if you don't know anything about SPC, also you can say it's self-help group. Only they are taking their responsibility. So it can be done. It's just not like isolationist approach like a personal loan. So it should be. Then RRP should be commercial bank support SHG. Support is very mild statement. Yeah, they will support because it is actually SHG is one of the what premier or one of the major areas where the government is focusing also. So only choose option. So even if you don't know the answer about SHG or you don't know about who invented SHG, you can make some like logical guesses. It would not be State Bank of India. It is actually by NABARD. It's not by State Bank of India. So, but since UPSC actually twists this parent organization, but UPSC won't shift the organization goals, but they will shift the parent organization. So you need to be conscious on that, and you can make logical as well as calculated guesses on the same. Consider the following statement: Indian public sector healthcare largely focuses on curative care with limited preventive, promotive, and rehabilitative care. That obviously is correct. We are focusing majorly on curative because only after admitting only we start our treatment. It is not before we are finding some issues in certain people and we are treating for them, not preventive and all. Second statement is under India's decentralized approach to healthcare delivery, the states are primarily responsible for organizing health services. Obviously, health is a state subject. States are supposed to coordinate with all the panchayat and other organizations. So both the statements are correct, and yeah. So both the statements are correct. But one thing is that first is like it is not the reason for India's curative approach. It is not because states are given the charge. So statements are correct, but statement two is not the correct explanation for statement one. Next is current affair wala question. According to United Nations World Water Development Report 2022, India extracts more than a quarter of the world's groundwater withdrawal every year. Second statement is India needs to extract more groundwater to satisfy drinking water and sanitation of almost 18% of the world's population. So what happened is statement one is correct because India is one of the largest groundwater extractor in the world. But the twist here is it is not for drinking purpose. It is for agriculture purpose. We are actually doing this. So the statement one is correct. Statement two, it is not for drinking purpose. It is for agriculture purpose. So the answer will be C. Statement one is correct, but statement two is incorrect. Consider the following statement: according to Constitution of India, central government has a duty to protect state from internal disturbance. The internal disturbances. The Constitution of India exempts the state from providing legal counsel to person being held for preventive detention. According to Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002, confession of the accused before the police cannot be used as an evidence. First statement is, according to Constitution of India, it is against external aggression. They have just made the word external. They have the same statement is taken from Lakshmikant. The statement external statement is given like the central government is supposed to protect the state from external aggression, not from internal disturbances. So statement one needs to be wrong. And second is the Constitution of India exempts the state from providing legal counsel. So if during preventive detention, even during like a murder case or something, if a person cannot appoint his own counsel, the state actually appoints a counsel for such a murderer. So what about preventive detention? This is very mild thing just compared to that. The second is wrong. According to Prevention of Terrorism Act, for POTA, confession of the accused before the police cannot be used as an evidence, because such a strong rule, even confession before the police could be used as a major evidences. So because this is very stringent and strong rule, so that is also wrong. Question is, which one of the following countries have been suffering from civil strikes and food shortages for decades? Angola, Costa Rica, Ecuador, and Somalia. So not even a like a double look is needed for this. This is Somalia, because other countries we know it is not such. Most of the countries in Africa is in this civil war and all, but it is not in such worse condition as compared to Somalia. So the answer is Somalia. 99th question is, consider the following statement. India biodiversity management committees are key to realization of objectives of Nagoya Protocol. The biodiversity management committees have important function in determining the benefit sharing, including the power to levy collection fees and access to biological resources within their jurisdiction. So, first statement is correct. Nagoya Protocol is about sharing of the biological resources, and biological management committee is one of the local committee which is formed for the jurisdiction as well as sharing of this. So both the statements are correct. So answer is C, both are correct. And the last question is, consider the following statements with respect to election of President of India. Then the members nominated to either House of the Parliament or state assemblies are also eligible to be included in the electoral college. Higher the number of legislative assembly seats, higher is the value of the vote of MLA. Value of vote of MLA of Madhya Pradesh is greater than Kerala. The value of vote of MLA in Puducherry is higher than of Arunachal, because ratio of total population, total number of elective seats in Puducherry is greater than compared to Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so this is one of the applicable question or application based questions in polity itself, because we can't easily go for this answer. So the first question is obviously the members nominated to either House of the Parliament or legislative assemblies are also eligible. No, nominated members are not eligible for election to president. Only elected members of both House, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, all the elected members of the state assemblies, elected representatives of the Union Territory of Delhi as well as Puducherry. Nominated members are not included in the electoral college of the Indian president. Second statement is, higher the number of elective assembly seats, higher is the value of each, higher the value of vote of each MLA. So that is also a wrong statement, because it depends. It depends upon various states also, because the number of seats which is allotted to that state, the population of the states, etc. So that can be also considered as wrong. The value of vote of each MLA of Madhya Pradesh is greater than that of Kerala, because that is a factual thing which you have to know or which you need to know. But the factual thing is that Kerala's vote of one MLA is 152, but Madhya Pradesh it is only 131. But they have large number of MLAs, but we have less number of MLAs. The value of vote of MLA Puducherry is greater than the Arunachal because of population to elective seats ratio. So that is correct answer. Population to elective seats ratio is higher in Puducherry as compared to that of Arunachal Pradesh. So the value of MLA, vote of an MLA in Puducherry is around 16, while that in Arunachal Pradesh is 8. So this has been a sort of factual question, but something or the other can be done on this also. But this was the only political question which was difficult. So coming to summing up of what I have said, in this examination, they have asked around 14 questions from polity and governance, 16 from environment, 13 from geography, and then the other part majorly belongs to economics, 14. So this has been a major chunk of question, and there is no doubt that this examination was one of the tough. not toughest, because not just because of GS has been tougher side because we have lost all the elimination. We couldn't do the elimination techniques and get into answers, and also the CSAT was also towards a very difficult level, and around 40 questions in GS was of higher difficult level and 40 of medium level, and hardly 10-20 questions was like easy to do. So maybe UPSC maybe continuing with this pattern itself, because they gave a hint at the last time, last examination, this statement based one only, or one statement, two statement, three statement questions or factual statements had been given in the last time, but it was only 6-7 in number, so it was not a great deal at that time. But now you need to know about these content and sort of elimination as well as gut feelings as to get your UPSC prelims cleared, as well as focus upon CSAT also. And just a few things, which is environment. You have to think very broadly on environment and science and technology. Anything can happen in science and technology, and in environment, anything can be there. Any organism, any plant can be there, surviving in any parts of the globe. So you need to think broadly in both the topics, science and tech, as well as environment. Coming to polity, basics itself will help you to do, except a few questions, maybe a couple of them. Other than that, all of the political questions you can do with the basic knowledge. Modern India, they are actually moving towards somewhat factual things, but be very strong on your basic thing, because that all the seventh question and all handloom question, yeah, then constitutional day question, these and all are from your basics. So these should be very strong, and especially focus upon arrival of the European powers in India from 1498 to 1857. Those that has become very important, as well as focus upon the starter acts from modern India. That is also very important. And from ancient and medieval, please go through some standard materials, maybe themes of India, textbooks of plus one, plus two, NCRT, Tamil Nadu, Sangam literature. Sangam literature is very important. Then Vijayanagara Empire. These are all major focus areas, and questions will be asked from the Spokaka. Sure. And yeah, then coming to modern India, these are the major areas which I said. Then second environment, be basic, be very sure with your environment basic. You can go with the Shankara Yearbook, which is one of the best basic books which you can get. I also refer to it, but it is redundant in the way that it has not been like added with current affairs, so that you have to prepare on your own and focus much more on current affairs. Even small areas like awards, these things, whenever this comes in newspapers, just at least have a look on what the award is for, or what is the purpose of the award, who has been awarded it. At least get familiar with these things, and focus much more on CSAT also. So those who haven't cleared this time, they have to put in much more efforts, but put efforts in the right direction. And these are the summing up of my all the experiences from the prelims since the last, maybe from 2018, 5 prelims which I've written. So yeah, so all the best for your future also, and do well for the prelims. And people who have cleared prelims, do well for the mains. It is one of the glorious gateways which you have got, and this time the vacancies are also very high. So all the best for everyone, and thank you.